Go fix the thumbnail.
I really fucking wish TradingView would let me sort my indicators by author. I don't know why they don't.
Because they hate the private authors. Don't get any money from them. TradingView had made one big mistake throughout their
Just one?
one massive mistake. When they were first starting out years ago, they had a marketplace for indicator devs, and they only had a few devs on there, which made like the most popular ones out of all of them. And they like let you sell your indicators on their marketplace, and they took a cut. And then they did away with that. And then after they did away with that, you have all these people that make indicators on their platform that they could be taking a cut from. They could literally take 50% from me, and I would agree to it if they had a marketplace.
Yeah, they fucked that up.
They could be rolling in money from private indicator devs. Hey, Robbie, Allen, Sarish, what's going on, guys? After those guys that they had on the marketplace went MIA, a lot of guys on CT actually stole their indicators and started selling them. But
think about it, dude. Like how many people use, custom indicators on TradingView?
Oh yeah, they could be making a lot of money.
I'm surprised they haven't caught on and implemented something like that.
Alan, they're bots. If it's an actual person, that you'd have to be a fucking neckbeard living in your parents' basement. You've got like blackout curtains, Monster Energy drink cans just all around your fucking computer. You know what I mean? It's not a real person who's like looking at my streams and putting a thumbs down the second I start. It's probably some guy that I pissed off, and he's got a bot running on my videos, which is basically the same exact scenario. The guy just guzzles Mountain Dew 24/7.
Yeah. That dude definitely fucking 2-bedroom, sleeps 44.
Exactly. All guys too. All right, if you guys didn't see the fun that just happened at 2 o'clock, the FOMC minutes happened, had a nice little spike up right at the start of it, and then it nuked all the way back down. Now we're kind of back to where we were, but still slightly down on the day. Pretty much just balancing out. It's kind of what I talked about on Monday, Tuesday. We talked about how the last week's profile had a massive gap in this 443 to 446 area, and it would not be very strange for it to hang out and fill in this volume gap. So it's basically what it's been doing all week. We had Monday try to push higher, couldn't do it, nuke down, fill in the gap some more on Tuesday, and now we're just perfectly balancing on Wednesday. So until it fails like below 44085, I wouldn't be too bearish. This is all just basically a balancing act. It obviously is struggling to find any value above like 445, and then you're struggling to find any value kind of below this 441 area. So balancing out in this area here, if you wanted to be bullish, you would have to really start to find some value around 445, 445.50, somewhere around there. Anything around the 446 area, if it hung out up there, then yes, we could be going for an all-time high, get that little price gap fill. But for now, you really just want to be selling the highs and buying the lows, which sounds easy, but That's basically what you're doing. You're selling the highs up here, you're buying the lows down here. Anything in between, it's not really worth scalping. It's too small of a range. You would have to be really leveraged up to make some money off these tiny moves. Like from here to here, it's like only what, a point? Yeah, it's like 2 points. So if you're trading futures, you could make some money on this range here. Trading options, it's not that big of a range, so you can't really do too much there.
Buy straight down right now.
SPY?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting flushed.
Hopefully, some of you guys in stream are making some money off our shipping plays. These things are just going straight up. I've been talking about these shippers for the past like month or so on our weekly watch list. They're paying out huge. Zim had really good earnings today. Maddox is still continuing higher. I'm not in DAC, but it's also doing very well. NMM is doing really well. We're in this one. And then GSL is the other one. I'm not in this one either, but doing really well. The three that I'm in are Zim, Maddox, and NMM. I have them sorted here by market cap. Zim's the biggest, then MATX, and then so on and so forth. You said I use VIX, VIX 3M, etc. to indicate likely movements in SPY, even intraday. Have you found this to be useful? Not really. I don't really use it as an indicator. If I'm day trading like on MES or ES, like doing the futures trading, I'll take a look at VIX every now and then to see like if it's nuking or pumping. But it's not like a cornerstone of my strategy. It is definitely helpful. If you guys remember back on Monday, I told you guys SPY was pumping, but VIX was green. And if you guys are longtime members of the Discord, if you guys remember back when COVID was first happening, we were seeing multiple days where the market was going straight up, but VIX was going straight up. And I told you guys, when they're going in the same direction, VIX almost always wins. So if they're both going up, VIX usually continues to go up, and SPY will go down. That's exactly what we saw on Monday. So Monday, which was right here, was going straight up all day. And then if we look at VIX, where's Monday on VIX? Well, what's Monday? Monday was the 16th. Right here. So VIX was climbing throughout the entire session. It started to fall after hours, but during the session, it was climbing. So you had a massive climb, and then VIX actually ended up being green. You sold off during the day, but you were still green. So VIX being green while SPY was pumping is very unusual. And then you saw VIX gap up and then rip. So if VIX is green while SPY is green, it's typically SPY is faking you out.
Remember that first major high after the COVID nuke? The one that pushed into the yearly open? And the daily pivot on ES?
In 2020?
Yeah. Like it was the first like major impulse high.
Yeah.
So I remember that day we were talking and
You mean in like September?
I think so.
Yeah, September buried us.
It was that first one. Let me zoom it back out.
September was my biggest red that day. September 3rd, I think, was the biggest red day of the year for me last year.
Yeah, September 3rd.
Yeah.
We were. I nailed the measured move up. Like you, I think you remember that one. But we saw like as SPY was like climbing up, VIX was going absolutely upwards. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, we were. I do remember that because I remember I was telling Discord like this is really scary. VIX is going straight up, but I didn't close any of my positions. And then out of nowhere, September 3rd just destroyed us and nuked downward. And it wasn't that big of a move. It was only 3% is pretty big, 3.25. But it destroyed the options. The options got obliterated. Like the premium on almost every single options contract that we were trading got completely destroyed. So that was the biggest red day of the year for us. And then we had like, I think it was, where was it? It was like January of this year, January to like March, I started buying leaps, and it was like the fastest I've ever seen leaps lose value. The price wasn't even going that poorly, but the IV was shifting so much that the leaps were just getting destroyed. And that was like for the first quarter of the year. Right after Biden took office, everything was running into him taking office, and then he took office, and a lot of stuff started nuking. And it just destroyed the IV on all the leaps. Pretty much anything that was farther out than March was getting wrecked. Hey, Nate, what's going on? It's not a whole lot to talk about, guys. It's probably going to be a boring stream because there's really nothing happening right now. We're just balancing out. This week is kind of a perfect example of balance. We didn't balance on Monday. We had a nice little trending day. But after that, this is like a perfect example of what price action does when it's balancing out, kind of filling nodes. I think once this week is over and we pull the weekly composite, it's probably going to be very D-shaped. It's going to look like a capital D, right? We'll have like POC somewhere towards the middle. Volume will fall off towards the high. Volume will fall off towards the low. And it will just have a massive node in the middle. Right now, this is what our profile looks like. Which is pretty much exactly what I was talking about. It's already a capital D. The tails are just a little long. So if we wanted to make this kind of more textbook, you would have to fill in this area here. The tail is too long. So you'd have to pop back up towards the end of the week and then hover towards this 445 area. And that would fill this in. And then your POC would probably shift up a little bit. It'd be towards the middle. And then it would be perfectly balanced. So if this wants to be very healthy, tomorrow and Friday should be bullish. We should be we should be bullish at least tomorrow. And then if we're really bullish Thursday, it's going to flatten out on Friday. It's kind of how you guys can use the profile to predict price movements. You always got to ask yourself, like, what does the market have to do to be the most efficient? Because the market wants to be efficient. It doesn't have to be, but it wants to be. So, like, this move on Monday was not efficient because it was healthy. It was healthy, like, for the bulls. But it would have been much more efficient if it pulled back to test these nodes and then it pushed higher. You never pulled back to test those nodes. So you lost kind of all that support. Here's another 5-minute bottom warning on the Momo. These bottom warnings have called almost every bottom for the past week or so. He'll either put in the bottom or put in a bull div. We'll see if we can get either. If you guys didn't see Lowe's and Home Depot today, mainly Lowe's. Lowe's had earnings today, smashed earnings. They're up 10%, which is massive for Lowe's. Beautiful chart. It's engulfing like 2 to 3 months worth of price action. If this thing pulls back, there's no daily pivot on my end.
What?
We're at
On Lowe's?
Yeah, LOW.
Yeah, it's smashing right into a daily pivot right now. Are you on extended hours?
No.
Did my data plan for bats on? Not on bats. I'll put it in the chat.
It's breaking a daily pivot for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's breaking the daily pivot.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's hitting one, like on the top.
Hitting one. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's hitting it, but I thought you meant like it was topping out on it.
No.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. If it pulls back to that pivot, that's a good buy. If it pulls back to like 197 tomorrow, a little micro doji. That'd be nice. And then Home Depot looked really good this morning. Pulled back kind of nasty right now. But if you can fill the gap, hang out around like 332, I like Home Depot a lot too. And then Target. Target had good earnings, but they gapped down. They're losing the uptrend, which is kind of sketchy. If it continues to fall, though, on good earnings, I would definitely be inclined to buy it. If it pulls back to like 235 to 225, that's a good buy in my eyes. If it reclaims the OTS trail before flipping it red, that's a good buy. Kind of like what we did back here. We got below the trail, got back above it, but the trail stayed green. Those are always very, very good buy signals. The only problem is the Momo lost the high for the first time since May. So the Momo is confirming this is a major resistance here. DoorDash having a really good day. The Momo is back into finding a top, so very bullish here. You could see 200 very soon on DoorDash. Airbnb loves to run with DoorDash. Excuse me. So if Airbnb can get above like 153, it looks pretty good. I called out Square this morning. Square looked really good. If it closed a little stronger here, I'd like it more. We'd like to see it close above like 268 sometime this week. If you can close above 268, you could definitely go back for that high. Snapchat and Neo looking really good. Neo bouncing right off the pivot at 37. Snapchat bouncing right off the breakout point at 70. And then Penn Gaming still looks really good. You need to get back above this range, though. Above like 77 to 80. Bitcoin, I told you guys, you wanted to look for 44,000 to 42,000, right? 44,000 was tested today on the low. So the local bear div has been played out, but the big bear div has not. The big bear div is not going to play out till you get down to like 41, 42. But this little local, very small bear div here, this one has been played out. And if we go into like the 30-minute here, my chart's a little messy. Let's clean it up. If we look at just the profile here, it's still pretty ugly because the past like 3 days we've been losing value. And really, honestly, the past like 5 days we've been losing value. There's just no value being found higher. You can see the value just keeps going down. Not much, like slowly going down. But look at what it's doing here. We've already finished this trade here almost. But it's trying to go for it again. So we have like the value area high there, the value area low down here. So the 80% rule would tell you if you hung out down here, you would go down to the bottom. You tried to do that yesterday. You got about 75% of the way there, and then you bounced. Now it's trying to do it again. So it's trying to complete this trade. So falling back down to 44,000 would not shock me. And really, until you start finding value above these POCs, look at all these POCs right here. This whole area just has like 5 POCs. So until you start holding above like 46.5, I would not want to be a buyer up here.
Hey, Deja.
Hmm.
ABCL. They're getting some call flow today, and they just printed a new daily pivot and retested it. There's some 1/21/2022 calls coming in. I think they're in biotech.
Yeah, this looks like a biotech. I was going to say penny stock, but it's $16. Yeah, it's shifting to green on the OTS, so you are getting some buyers after earnings.
And that volume is very, very impressive.
Back above the 80 EMA. The 50 EMA is at 1870. You have to get back above that. Don't look at the Ichi. The Ichi would scare you.
I'll get a couple. Let's see what happens.
There was another penny stock that was exploding on my scanner this morning. What was it? SGOC. That thing looks ridiculous. It was like 250, went all the way up to $29. Now it came all the way back down to 430, and now it's popping. If you guys like extremely high risk kind of penny stocks, keep an eye on that one, guys. Two of you guys said you took that trade yesterday on Bitcoin. You guys took the 80% rule.
What's the 80% rule?
Where's my chart? Let me just clean this up.
Fuck, Bitcoin's dying.
Did I not just clean this chart? I used another one, didn't I? You had a value area that we traded outside of, and now you're retracing back inside of it. So you have an 80% chance to go to the other side. So we have value area high at 45,000, value area low at 44,000. Jonathan said I got out when it completed 75%, like you mentioned. Nice. Yeah, so that's kind of like what I was talking about. We mentioned this, I think, earlier this week or last week. You're not always going to get the entire trade, but it still gives you a very juicy profit. And if you were watching the POC on that day, you would have gotten out. Like, if you saw it start to wick that POC, you're done. That trade's over. You're not going to let it come all the way back and take your profit. As soon as it starts hitting the POC and bounces like that, you're done. If you bought that POC as a buy, that's a beautiful entry. You could even still hold on to it even now if it was pulling back like this. You don't have to, obviously. Like, you could have taken profit on these POCs right here when it popped up. But even though it's pulling back, you have such a good entry that if you didn't mind the drawdown, well, not really drawdown, but the loss of profit, you could hold on to that. This would be like one of the trades where you set your stop loss at break even because you have such a good entry, and then you just let it run. If it comes back to stop you out, then big deal. You didn't lose anything. But if this becomes the local bottom and it goes all the way back up, you would hate yourself for taking profits so early. Now, if you got like a later entry, maybe you bought like the retrace inside the value area low, then you probably would be closing either on the POC or when it pulls back to give you drawdown. But this is such a good entry, you probably don't want to close early. If you ever have like an entry where you almost bottom ticket and then it starts to rapidly push in your direction, you don't have to close those like really early. Especially on Bitcoin when the bottom wicks could be so strong. It's kind of like the same idea up here. Like if you somehow caught this top wick, you don't want to take profit right away because you damn near top ticked it. It also depends on like how you're doing on the week, how you're doing on the day. Like if you're already doing really well in the week and you've got money to spare, then you're going to hold on to it. If you're doing really bad and you need to take the profit early, you're probably going to take the profit early. Those are all the things, like I was telling you guys in the series, I can't really teach you. That's all stuff you're just going to have to learn by doing. I don't have a set rule set for risk management on Bitcoin, but when I enter trades in crypto, pretty much any crypto whatsoever, I look for at least a 1.5 to 1. So for every dollar that I risk, I want to make it $1.50. That's always been my rule set in crypto, and it's done pretty well. You have to have like at least a 1.5 to 1 in crypto because you have so much there's so many opportunities for you to get wrecked. Like if you're in an altcoin trade and Bitcoin just randomly starts nuking, like you can't take that trade unless you have a good ratio. SPY could give you a buy the dip here. If we start to bounce off these lows, it's not really building nodes just yet. We built a node right around 442. We got a node around 44270. No node down here though. We'll zoom in here, make it easier for you guys. Spy is getting wrecked here. Is Dixie going back up? Yeah, it is. This was a little scary for my dollar hedge. The nuke on Dixie, but it's already recovering. My dollar hedge didn't even price in. I was down like less than $1 or $2 per contract. So it was good. Alright, here comes the big supports down here. 441.29 and 440.85. We'll see if it can bounce. This is also yesterday's low. Alright, here's the moment of truth. We need to see if it bounces here. This little node, this is, I wouldn't really consider this a node just yet. It's still trying to build it. But if this starts to build and it bounces off of it, which it's currently trying to do, this could be the low of day again. Right now it's using this node as resistance. All right, here comes that POC from, I think this was not last week, but the week before. We also want to watch for pivots. Let's turn on the OTS here. We want to watch for some pivots down here. So far, no pivots forming on any of the time frames we like. Still giving a bottom warning on the Momo, so it is getting a little extended. So this is going to either turn into a bottom here, or it could turn into a bull div where it goes for a new low. They're not confirmed, though. It's just a warning right now. So far, that level's holding beautifully. Yeah, we can take a look at how VIX is reacting. VIX is pumping pretty hard, but it's starting to top out a little bit. Dixie is still slowly going up. Is big tech driving this down? Let's see. Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon. Yeah, they're all rolling over here. Shippers are holding up. That's good. How about Lowe's? Lowe's is still holding up too. So now it's starting to build this node here. If it bounces like this, it's not bad. Nice little doji so far. I don't actually have any levels below this all the way down, only down to 437. Let's see if we can find some levels on the way down. So it'd be basically this day right here. This day has not been tested. It's a beautiful, this is like textbook. You guys are wondering what balanced profile looks like. That it's right there. That's a perfect example. This has not been tested, so we can color code this, make it like purple. So if we get below like 440, you're looking for 439.30, and that would give you the 80% rule because this has not been tested. So we have found value outside of this area, and now we're coming back to retest it. Okay, so pay attention to that day there if we do go lower, which is right around here. Building a nice node right now. So now we just need to see like the next 2 5-minute candles, 3 5-minute candles, see kind of how they react to this node. Are they going to bounce off the node or are they going to fail it? So far, this is literally bottom ticking the level that I gave you guys, 440.85. This is the POC of 2 weeks ago. So it would be the week of the 2nd, the first week of August. You can see today leaned bearish even though it was balanced because we were below the 200 EMA almost the entire time. And we also had the 50 below the 200 and we were making lower highs. The OTS was red almost the entire day as well, which does not help. Okay, so that doji closed. So for now, that is a support node. We have a beautiful support node below us. We just have to see how price reacts. So yes, you could buy this level and just predict that it's going to bounce off of it. Because if it does bounce, you're bottom ticking, right? But if you're being more conservative, you would want to wait for at least a couple candles to see how it reacts to that node. It's trying to put in a pivot. It's hard to see, but you can see how the SPY indicator is blue. You see how the candle's blue? It's because the OTS is trying to put in a bottom pivot. So if it closes like this, it's going to put in a bottom pivot. Yes, you can use, they're called naked POCs. You can use naked POCs as like retest points. A naked POC is like a POC that closed and was not tested. So if we have like a POC from similar to that day that I just posted, the POC in this day here, that would be a naked POC. So you could come back down to retest that level. Very beautiful reaction so far off of that level. 3 minutes until close. We can see if it closes that pivot. 5-minute pivots are decent for scalping. They're not extremely accurate. The SPY, like 30-minute pivots, 50-minute pivots are definitely a lot better. We're not putting in a 30 or a 15 just yet. No 1 hour either. Is this bouncing off anything on the higher time frames? Let's see. You lost the 80 MA on the 4 hour. You lost the 80 MA on the daily. You're coming up on the 80 MA on the weekly, which is usually a very strong level. So around like 438. It's really all I'm seeing. There's nothing from the high time frames up here. How
I
is
really just want to see Hood earnings. What do you think it's going to do?
you'd think they'd be good? I don't see how they'd lose money. They're kind of like Coinbase. They've onloaded so many new customers recently,
Yep.
but then they also lost a shit ton of customers. But they're kind of like Netflix. Netflix can fuck up. They can have like the biggest withdrawal of customers they've ever seen, and they'll get all those customers back within a few months. Like that, what was that one show with the kids that Netflix had? It was like the kids were dancing sexually or something. They saw their biggest loss in members they've ever seen, but then I think they beat their numbers the next earnings. So it's like they can't lose. What I was gonna say was 3-hour Ichi. Let's take a look at 3-hour Ichi. 3-hour Ichi on ES is very good at showing the trend. 3-hour and 4-hour Ichi. Most importantly, the cloud. So the 3-hour cloud here is flipping red, which is not good. 4-hour cloud is also flipping red. We're inside the 4-hour cloud right now, though, so that's pretty good. But you can see typically when this flips, it trends for quite a long time. The red flips can be a little fake out, so you do want to watch for like an immediate bounce, which would be like this flips red, and then we immediately bounce. But typically the cloud flips are not good. We lost the daily Tenkan line as well.
Ooh. First time we've lost it in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to be very disappointed if this is a sell-off that we're about to head into. Because it's just been slow grinding and everyone just buying calls. Like, it would absolutely fuck over a lot of people here.
Yeah, I haven't bought my Q's position yet. I want to start buying. What's it down now? It's down another 0.5%.
And Q's literally at weekly support. The daily key June's like a few more points down. Double buy the dip signal.
I like
Q's.
it's got 3. Yeah, I like the buy the dip, but I think this is one of the scenarios where it puts in the buy the dip on a rollover top. So this is like a top that's rolling over, and these
I agree.
typically do not stop here. So the OTS will give you buy signals, but if it's a rollover top, they usually fail and then it goes down more. If this went down to like 356, 355, that would be an easy buy. I would be buying calls on Qs, no problem. What did I say yesterday that I wanted on Qs? It was 3. Let me see. Oh, the pivot at 360. That's what I wanted. If you look at the monthly VWAP on Qs, the closed VWAP from last month, and then a pivot, it lines up to the exact level at 360, around 361 to be exact. If Qs gets down there and starts to show some signs of bouncing, I'll probably buy some calls. I really wanted to buy calls yesterday on Qs, but the Momo, I can't go against the Momo. And the Momo is pinching bearishly. I told you guys on stream, when the Momo does this, it is almost 100% strike rate. It's one of the highest strike rate signals any of the indicators I've ever built can give you. Whichever way the Momo is pinching, you do not trade against it. So this pinching downward is very sketchy. You're also very close to losing the high on the daily, on the Momo. So until the 4 hour stops pinching on Qs, I'm not touching it.
All markets are rolling over.
Where's monthly VWAP on SPY? 433, so we got a ways down there. SPY's getting nuked. See, this is why I told you guys it's better to wait a few candles to see how it reacts to the node. Because yes, we were bouncing off that node beautifully, but look at the second candle, he immediately lost it. This is why people who wait for confirmation get paid.
Nah, just ape in.
It's better to be late than be wrong.
True. Yeah, we're definitely below the monthly VWAP.
Yeah, the current VWAP. When I say monthly VWAP, I usually talk about the previous.
We're coming into the VWAP from the last low.
Oh yeah, the current monthly VWAP's at 442. That's not good. We just lost that. That is not good at all. So here's the current monthly VWAP, guys. You can see where we are. If I pull up the bands, it gives you kind of a better understanding. I like to look at the closed VWAPs much more than the current VWAP. As you can see, very, very good indicator. Look at these bottoms that we were seeing on SPY. The bottom in July, to the tick, monthly VWAP. The bottom in June, to the tick, monthly VWAP. This one, not so much. The bottom in March, to the tick. The bottom in January, to the tick. These ones, not so much. They were going through the VWAP. And that's about it. But every monthly VWAP, all the way up from the COVID low, was bullish, except for the one in September, when we created the monthly VWAP kind of high, and then we lost it. Every other monthly VWAP, once it closed, we were trading above it basically the entire month. You had a little bit of red in November, a little bit of red in March, but it's only a few days. And then look at kind of like back here when we started to nuke. We had the monthly VWAP in February 2020. You nuked it. You could not reclaim it. You put in a monthly VWAP on March. You could not reclaim it, and then you just kept nuking. And then we finally put in a monthly VWAP in April, reclaimed it. That was the bottom. So the monthly VWAP here is a big level for Qs, 360 to 361. IWM has already lost its monthly VWAP, and we traded below the monthly VWAP last month almost the entire time, which is very, very bad. This is 2 bearish monthly VWAPs back to back, which is usually signs that it's going to correct.
We're coming into the POC from the last low and the anchored VWAP.
On SPY.
Hang on, I'll send it to you. It's in the chat.
Yeah, I see the anchored VWAP, the one from July.
I picked this this level yesterday too on TrendSpider, and we bounced. And I was like, oh, I guess we're okay, and then we nuked.
Oh, here you guys go. I was going on a tangent, but here is the trade that I just gave you guys earlier. The 80% rule. We're already halfway done. Let's see if it can finish it. It's bouncing off the POC right now, I believe. Let me zoom back out.
Monthly POC's already been breached.
So here is the POC of that. This is the naked POC I was telling you guys about.
We're coming into the value area low though.
Yep, that naked POC. Who asked about the naked POCs earlier? It was IT. IT, you see that? Naked POC bouncing almost to the penny almost. This is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier on Bitcoin. When you guys are going for those 80% trades, you have to watch out for the POCs because they can break your trade. This could be a really good buy for like buy it, close, sell it open if we see a nice bounce tomorrow. I'm not going to trade it because I'm still looking for a deeper pullback.
I like how it's nuking into the close.
Yeah, nuking into the close, trying to bounce right at the close. We could see a nice little move tomorrow.
I'm looking to see, I'm watching the option flow to see if anything pops up.
It's bouncing off major support. As long as you don't mind having a drawdown down to 439, this could definitely bounce back to like 442. So like this would be a good example of my like 1.5 ratio that I was telling you guys about. Like if you took this trade here, your stop loss would be like 439. So you have like a 1 point stop loss. Then you're going for 2 points minimum. At least 442, maybe to 444 if you get some buyers. We haven't bounced off any nodes though. You put in a node here, bounce, died. Trying to bounce here, not doing it just yet. We're way below the 200 EMA. This was a re-entry trigger for bears. When it puts in a bottom pivot and then loses it, that's a re-entry seen as a continuation move. Same thing here. Continuation move to the downside. Continuation move to the downside there again. Dose, I saw you tag me and say cuties in Discord, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I remembered I was asking what that movie was on Netflix. Yeah, that it was the Cuties movie. That's the one they got a lot of
Cuties.
they got a lot of flack for that. They saw their largest loss in members they've ever seen.
I mean, it was kind of cringe in so
Yeah,
many
it's bad.
ways. I think I tried to watch the movie and I just couldn't. First of all, obviously can't get into it, and then second of all, it's just like, what is this? Why does this exist?
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh my god, there's so many puts coming in. Stop.
Making steaks tonight. Last time I cooked steaks, I fucking pissed myself off because I oversalted them. It's always bad when you oversalt steaks because there's nothing you can do about it. It's like the damage has been done.
We're on the OTS trail right now, pretty much coming into the
On the
POC
daily?
and yep.
Yeah. We're putting in a new 5-minute pivot right into the close.
I'm looking for any kind of signal of buyers showing up.
What was that stuff you said you used with your steaks? It was I think it was a replacement for butter.
Oh, ghee.
Ghee, yeah. I need to try that.
It's delicious. Also, beef tallow.
I've been using the Wagyu stuff that I think Clueless recommended. It's pretty good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like
Oh.
instead of using oil, you use like Wagyu fat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
sure that
good.
exists. The beef tallow is really good. It's really thick. You cannot put that shit down your drain. Cannot. It gets really, really, really thick.
Oh, you mean like instead of an oil?
Yeah, like it makes the meat taste so good. This is the POC from the range low that we just had, so this is the bottom, I think.
The 80% trade has been pretty much complete at this point. The one that I told you guys about earlier. So both trades here would have been right. Like if you took this 80% trade and you closed it on the bounce of the POC, that's okay, because that will happen. It will bounce off POC. If you closed half and then closed half, that's also good. If you held all the way, that's okay. I probably would not have held all the way, like full position. You probably should have at least closed half, closed half.
Here we're going for the VWAP, I guess.
Yeah, this is bad. How's Dixie doing? Hasn't climbed that much. I need this thing to break out, man.
It's literally break even on the futures.
I need it to break out. I'll get paid on my leaps.
No one's fucking bidding this yet. Where are the fucking buyers?
I did this last time. I should have just taken puts on SPY instead of taking fucking Dixie. It's like last time I tried to buy. I called the like absolute top in 2020, like one of the tops, and I bought fucking VXX instead of buying puts on SPY, and my VXX didn't do anything. It was so irritating.
20th of August, 444 seems to be coming in. What are we at? 439. Shutterflow got anything for me? No, not really.
He said, I've tried various strategies like harmonics, moving averages, indicators, etc. But after seeing your videos about volume profile, I think it's the best logical method I've ever seen. Yeah, man, if you're like a logical person, logical trader, you want things to be like super set in stone, do the same thing, find the same levels every day. It's definitely the way to go.
It's all volume and price action. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
There's nothing fancy about it. Like the fanciest thing you have to learn is like the different shapes of the profiles. Everything else is like
block trade came in.
Yeah, it's getting nuked. Everything else is like you could read a basic trading book on buying support and selling resistance, stuff like that, and use that in trading volume profile.
Multiple block trades just came in on end of year or start of next year rather.
I wouldn't get too bearish because we could see what we saw on Monday, right? Shot up the entire day, gap down. So this one's go down the entire day, gap up. It would not surprise me. If it gets down to this big weekly support around 437, that'd be huge. Where's Q's at? I want to trade Q's. I keep forgetting that level. What was that level I said? 4-hour pivot. Here it is. 360. Probably tomorrow. I'll probably get that tomorrow. Let me take a look at how much those contracts are worth. Dude, this new update on Tastyworks app is so bad. God. All right, let's see. What was I looking at? I was looking at October 15th. QQQ. Buy the 365 calls, sell the 370s as a spread. They're currently 255, so it's good that we waited. They were like 320. I didn't want to buy them there. Then they dropped down to 275. I didn't want to buy them there. Now they're 355. So definitely good that we have not bought them yet. We're still letting them kind of bleed out a little bit. Oh, hold on. These are the wrong contracts. This is October 1st. I need October 15th. They should be right around the same price. Yeah, 260. So, still going down. But alright, guys. I'm going to call it a stream on that. Hopefully you guys learned something today. Make sure to hit that like button if you guys like the stream. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are new to my YouTube channel. We stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We do have a weekly watch list come out on Sunday, typically around 4 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Tomorrow we will be streaming, same time as always. If you guys are in the Discord, I'm going to post analysis later tonight, probably sometime around 8, 9 o'clock. Yesterday I did post the analysis early, and that's actually the time that I'm going to start posting analysis every day. So you guys will probably like that more than what I do now. I post it pretty late. But once I have everything situated with my new house and everything, we're going to start posting analysis right after close pretty much every single day. So watch out for that. But for now, it's going to come out probably around 9, 10 o'clock. So make sure you keep an eye on the analysis channel. And then for you guys in stream, I'll see you guys at 3 p.m. tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a good night.